Hello friends, today we are going to discuss another microwave tube which is TWT, traveling wave tube. The traveling wave tube is a new type of tube which has displayed considerable promise as a broadband amplifier, and these amplifiers are different from Keystone amplifiers. As we have seen here, Keystone is basically a narrowband device, as they utilize cavity resonator to velocity modulate the electron beam over a very narrow gap, whereas the traveling wave tube are broadband devices in which there are no cavity resonators, and the interaction space in a TWT is extended, and the electron beam exchanges energy with RF wave over full length of the tube. So here the interaction between RF wave and the electron will be for a very longer time as compared to the Keystone amplifier. Next, the electron beam travel with velocity governed by anode voltage, which is typically 0.1 V, where V is the velocity of light in the vacuum. The RF field propagate with a velocity equal to the velocity of light. So the interaction between the RF field and the moving electron beam will take place only when the RF field is retarded by some means. Normally, the slow wave structures are being used to retard the RF field, like a helix or a waveguide arrangement. Here in two-way Keystone, the electron beam travels but the RF field remain stationary. That was the case in case of two cavity Keystone. But here, to prolong the interaction between an electron beam and RF field, it is necessary that both are traveling in the same direction with nearly same velocity. So here it differs from the Keystone, in which electron beam travel and the RF field remains stationary. Here both RF field and the electron, they are traveling in same direction and with almost same speed. Now, before going into the detail of its operation and construction, let us see how this TWT is going to perform. So performance characteristics of a TWT are mentioned here. Frequency of operation is nearly about 0.5 GHz to 95 GHz. Power output 5 milliwatt at 10 to 40 GHz. Low power TWT. 250 kilowatt at 3 GHz, termed as high power TWT, and 10 megawatt, that is for the pulsed wave, at 3 GHz, and the efficiency of TWT is about 5 to 20%, 30% with depressed collector. And noise figure, it is 4 to 6 dB for low power TWT at a frequency of 0.5 to 16 GHz, and the noise figure is 25 dB for high power TWT at nearly about 40 gigahertz. Now when we say the efficiency of this is 30% with depressed collector, it means this depressed collector is a set of collector rings maintained at successively higher potential to effectively slow down electron beam that still possesses a considerable kinetic energy. So if we have used this technique, then the efficiency is nearly about 30%. Now we are going to see the various applications of this TWT. First is low noise RF amplifier in broadband microwave receivers. This is used as an amplifier in broadband microwave receivers. Second, long distance telephony. As a repeater amplifier we can utilize it. The power output tube in communication satellites. This is possible due to long tube life, around 50,000 hours against 1/4 of the other type tubes. Then in as continuous wave high power TWT in troposcatter link, due to larger power and larger bandwidth. Because of these two benefits, bandwidth and power, we can use these amplifier in continuous wave high power in troposcatter link. Then they can also be used in radar, airborne and shipborne pulsed high power radars. So these are some of the application feature of this TWT. Now we are going to see the construction feature of the TWT, as we are seeing in this diagram. The physical construction of a typical TWT is shown here. It has an electron gun. This is the electron gun as used in Klystron, which is used to produce a narrow constant velocity electron beam. This electron beam is in turn passed through a center of long axial helix. This will be the axial helix along the axis. A magnetic focusing field is provided to prevent the beam from spreading and to guide it through the center of the helix. So because of this magnetic focusing field, this electron beam which is traveling along the axis, it will not spread and it will keep traveling along the axis. Helix is loosely wound thin conducting helical wire which act as a slow wave structure. This helix, later we will see, this is acting as a slow wave to slow down the wave. Its velocity is going to be decreased with the help of this helix structure. The signal to be amplified is applied to the end of the helix adjustment to the electron gun. Here we are going to apply the signal which is going to be amplified. The amplified signal appears at this output or other end of the helix under appropriate operating condition. This is the collector of electrons, and these dots, these are working as a attenuators. So this is the physical structure. This will look like somehow this. We can see the arrangement. This is the cathode. This is the electron gun assembly, where we are having a cathode. These are the helix, a ring-like structure, just like a spring in a pen we see. Just like that, we are having a helical structure. This here we are going to apply the input which we are going to amplify, and this is the output. From this point we are taking the output. Now this is, because this is the cathode, it is connected with negative potential, and this is connected with, this is anode, this is connected with the positive potential. So this I have already told. the electron gun will going to produce the narrow constant velocity electron beam and the function of magnetic focusing field and so on. Now coming on to the operation part of this TWT. Now as we see in this diagram, from this diagram we are going to see how this TWT is going to operate. Now when the applied RF signal propagate along turns of the helix, here it produces electric field at the center of the helix. When the signal is applied to at this point, it is going to travel along the helix, and because of that RF signal, an electric field is generated at the center of the helix here. The RF field propagate with velocity of light. This RF field is going to propagating with the speed of light. The axial electric field due to RF signal travel with velocity of light multiplied by the electric field that is going to travel with the velocity of light multiplied by ratio of helix pitch to helix circumference. This helix, the ratio of helix pitch, this will be the pitch and the circumference of this. So this is the velocity with which your field is traveling, that is field is traveling with a speed equals to speed of light multiplied by the ratio helix pitch to helix circumference. Now when velocity of electron beam traveling through the helix becomes almost equals to the rate of advance of axial field, then the interaction take place between them in such a way that on an average the electron beam delivers energy to the RF wave on the helix. So in this way the energy translation will take place. So when the speed of electron beam which is traveling within this helix structure and the speed of the RF field, when they become nearly equal, then those electrons which are traveling will deliver their energy to the RF wave on the helix. So the signal wave grows and amplified output is obtained at the output of here, at the output of TWT, and the axial phase velocity will be given by Vp. This Vp can be written as Vc into pitch divided by 2 pi r, where this r is the radius of helix and is essentially constant over range of frequencies, and the characteristics of helix low wave structure enables TWT to have broadband operation. Helix, since it provides the least change in Vp with frequency, is preferred over other slow wave structures for the TWT. Now the TWT can be thought of as a limiting case of multi-cavity klystron which has a very large number of closely spaced gap with a phase change that propagate from left to right at approximately the same velocity as electron beam. Here, this. Now what happens when the axial field is 0? When the axial field is 0, electron velocity is unaffected. The velocity modulation will not be there because the field is 0. This happens at the point of node of the axial electric field. At a point where the axial field is positive antinode, if say it is positive antinode, then electron is accelerated, and this electron will try to catch up with the later electron which encounters the nodal RF axial field. So this is for the when we are having the positive field in that case, and when axial field is negative antinode. At later point, electron tend to overtake and electron gets velocity modulated. So as a result of this, energy transfer from electron to RF field in phase with RF field at the axis, a second wave is induced on the helix. This produces an axial electric field that lags behind the original electric field by lambda by 4, and bunching continues to take place. The electron in bunch encounters retarding field and deliver energy to the wave on the helix, and in this process output becomes larger than the input and amplification results, and this energy increases in RF in a continuous process. Now in this figure we can see how bunching of electrons take place because of this is the bunching of electron take place because of velocity modulation. The wave traveling along the helix has a longitudinal component of electric field which causes velocity modulation of electron beam, because different electrons are going to encounter with the field at different time. So depending upon the field intensity, different electrons will travel with different velocity, and that will be the velocity modulation, and this velocity modulation will cause bunching of electron at regular interval of one wavelength, as we can see in this diagram. These are the bunches of electrons. When the RF wave and electron beam are moving with similar velocities, a continuous interaction between wave and the beam take place, resulting in bunches, and these bunches grow up as the beam moves further to the helix. This cumulative interaction can be explained in terms of space charge wave on the beam. In addition to the velocity modulation, the beam will also experience a fluctuation in charge density and current density. These are known as space charge wave on the electron beam. So this is how this traveling wave tube is going to amplify a signal which is applied here, and the output or the amplified version of that applied signal can be taken out from here. So this is all about the traveling wave tube. We have studied the basic difference between TWT and two cavity amplifiers, the performance characteristics of TWT, various application, its construction and its operation. So this is all for today's lecture. In the next lecture we are going to see some other microwave tubes. Thank you. Have a nice day.